This is the RC Quadcopter H36. One thing we're not short of these days are quadcopters, and there seems to be lots of them doing the rounds everywhere from market stalls to higher end boutiques. And this one is from JJRC, and it's the H36. This is a simple 20-pound quadcopter that is made in China and shipped to me by the supplier themselves just to have a quick play with and see how well I like it. And well, it's just a toy. That's it. We'll open her up and have a quick look in around and see what there is inside. It broadcasts on the 2.4 gigahertz. It's a 6-axis gyro drone. And inside we have the quadcopter just neatly on top there with a little bit of plastic packaging. On the side here it says 2.4 gigahertz, 360 inversion, LED lights, 6-axis, headless gyroscopy type compass thing, return to home function, and low/high speed switch. Simple. We get a little packet with 4 replacement propellers, because obviously we're going to break them quite quickly, and a little charger as well for USB. The quadcopter itself is tiny. It really is very, very dinky. These things are getting smaller every day, and this is exceptionally light. It's a very simple setup, quite sporty and obviously blue. And we have the main cockpit here for a gentleman to sit in, and then on the underside is the little inky dinky battery. It's these typical charge mechanisms that you plug in the battery into this USB, and it just charges of its own right, and the LED pops on the USB, and this 150 milliamp hour battery is all charged up and ready for probably about 10 minutes worth of flight. It's tiny, but then it's a tiny little gyrocopter, so you can't expect too much. This is where the plug plugs in whenever you're all charged up and ready to go, and probably adds about twice the weight to the entire thing. It's really quite simple. These turn, all 4 of them working at once, and pushes up, and then you adjust the speed of each of the rotors, and before you know it, you're going different directions and pulling all kinds of crazy stunts just before the battery dies and it plummets out of the sky. So the remote control is this. It's quite simple, very basic plastic, very cheap, and it requires 2 AA batteries that plug in here, which is very simple, means it's easily charged on the go. It looks like there's a screw required there, but obviously there isn't one provided. And there's a lot of movement with these thumbsticks. They do feel very loose, so I would imagine that precision is not going to be paramount here. And we have a number of little adjustment buttons and shoulder buttons as well, which obviously assist with the flight. The adjustment buttons are for precision, and then there's an on-off switch here. And the shoulder buttons are probably for performing those stunts like return to home or 360-degree stunt work. So we'll plug in the battery and see what happens. See if we have any charge out of the box, which we normally have with these rechargeable batteries. And we'll see if we can get it off the ground table. LEDs are flashing to signal that we're ready to go. Launch can commence any second now. And with a flip of one of the sticks, it's away and crashing again already. So yeah, it's fast. We have to take it very easily with these thumbsticks. And it's quite difficult to control. Obviously you can adjust it a little, but probably by the time you do, the battery will be dead. It does tend to fly off to, I guess it's heading left, or port. To port. It goes to port. So we haven't got a mission of getting anything done in here, so we'll take it outside and see how well it fares in the garden. Okay, so filming a drone, a quadcopter, out in the garden is quite difficult to do because I'm not the greatest pilot in the world, although I can control them from time to time. And getting your bearings with this one is going to be quite difficult. You just, I guess, have to take it easily. Of course, a bad worker always blames his tools, so the actual joypads that are in use here, the sticks, are not terribly effective at all. That's not the quadcopter, that was a bird. But I managed to keep it up in the air for a good few minutes. However, steering it back into the field of vision of the camera was really quite difficult because the thing is really fast, really light, and there was no headwind today to be able to affect it in any way. However, after a quick bit of time, I decided to try and get that lean to the left that it had sorted out with the fine adjusting, only to make the quadcopter somewhat unflyable because I pressed almost every button about 20 times and eventually it failed to take off anymore. So after a second charge, I decided to get a little bit more creative with my controls and things and shots for it, only to find that I was still unable to control the quadcopter at all. And it was entirely down to me adjusting the gain and tilt of the rotors through the handset, and as a result it now just barrel rolls in a random direction. My one hope is that once the battery is totally depleted or the batteries have been removed from the handset is that it'll set everything back to zero and I'll be able to get back to actually learning how to fly this thing. Initially it was quite good fun once I had it up in the air and was trying to get it to follow a particular path to get into the field of view of the camera. However, now it's just an annoyance and I'll probably leave it a few days before I try it again. So thanks very much to RC Quadcopters for the opportunity to play with this. Let me know if you guys have a go and manage to have any more success with it than I do. Hit that subscribe button down below, give us a thumbs up if you fancy. Let me know if there's any questions you have. And other than that, take care.